today. Believing you are doing well and still setting the pace. Our lesson for today is weeds. We're continuing from the previous class. In today's class, we are going to discuss examples of weeds. We are going to mention their names, their common names, and their botanical names. And then we will look at how weeds affect the growth of plants. But in the previous lesson, we mentioned what weeds are. We stated the characteristics of weeds, being that they have many seeds, they grow very fast, they can resist drought, that is, they can stay until the condition is favorable and they grow up again. We also mentioned some of the ways in which weeds can be dispersed, such as through the animal body, through farmers' working tools, and also through wind and water. So today I'm going to give some examples of weeds, their common name, and also their botanical or scientific name. If you notice in the subsequent notes that will follow, the botanical name is in two places. The first one is the generic name, while the second one is the specific name. In it, the first one starts with a capital letter, while the second one starts with a lowercase, the small letter. And that's how, when I ask you to give me examples of leaves of weeds and state their botanical name, I expect that you state the names. The first name will start with a capital letter, while the second name will start with a small letter. And in it, we're supposed to underline it after every writing. So I'm going to mention some examples of grasses or examples of weeds. Example is elephant grass. And elephant grass, the botanical name for elephant grass is Pennisetum purpureum. Don't eat your mouth, don't bite your tongue when you are mentioning these names. But please pay attention. Elephant grass is Pennisetum purpureum. Guinea grass is Panicum maximum. Guinea grass is Panicum maximum, while Tridus is Tridus procumbens. Tridus procumbens. And then we also have what is known as central. And the botanical name or the scientific name for central is Centrosema pubescens. Centrosema pubescens. I have about different types of weeds, about 10 of them that I've listed in your notes. You are going to see them with their botanical name. So let's go on to how weeds affect agriculture, or the problems of weeds in agriculture. One of the problems of weeds is that it competes for nutrients with the plants on the field. For instance, if you plant maize or groundnut and you allow weeds to just grow without removing them, weeding them, without controlling them in any way, the nutrients that your groundnut or your maize is supposed to get, the weeds are also competing for it. So you see that your plants may not grow very well as it is expected of them. So weeds compete with our crops on the field. The second problem of weeds is that it serves as hiding place for animals or microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. Rodents, rats, snakes, grass cutters, that especially the rats and the grass cutters that eat some of our crops on the field, the weeds, once it grows, it serves as hiding place for them. So they can hide and be eating our crops. But once we weed them out, we remove those weeds, we can easily see these pests and we remove or we kill them or we poison the place so that once they come, when they eat the poison, they can die and our crops are protected. And I also say that it serves as hiding place for disease-causing organisms such as bacteria and fungi. Weeds also, some of them are poisonous to our animals when they graze on them. If we allow weeds to thrive on our farms, if we have animals that maybe usually after we've harvested and the weeds are still there, our animals can go to graze on it, and as they graze, it's poisonous to them. It may kill them. So it is good for us to remove those weeds. Weeds also reduce the quality and market value of our crops. How does weed reduce the quality of our crops? You know, sometimes like all these vegetables, spinach for instance, or what they call ayoyo, the one we use for making draw soup, if you go to the market, you buy some of them, you see some of them, if you check inside, you see some of the weeds included in the pack of those spinach. So as you buy it, some of them, they have bad odor and can make the leaves to our spinach to smell bad, that we may not enjoy using it. It also reduces the market value of our produce. For instance, like the rice that is cultivated after harvesting and thrashing, you know, some of these weeds, they have their seeds can easily be in the rice. Let's take now, you go to the market, you buy a mudu of rice, and when you get back home, you want to pick it. In picking it, you discover that almost half tin milk of it is filled with wheat seed. You see, the quantity of your produce that you bought is reduced. And you may not want to go back to that place to buy your crops again for use at home. Thorny weeds, you know, some of these weeds have thorns on their body, on them. So as animals graze on the land, the thorns of these weeds can poke them, can prick them, and it causes injury on their skins. And that skin, if you want, as the animal have injuries on your skin, you can, if you slaughter it, you can't say you are selling the skin. People may not really value it because it's not looking attractive. You know, some Muslim people use animal skin for prayers. If they see that, I don't think they will want to patronize that person that have skin that is not looking so attractive. So it's good for us to reduce the weeds on our farms so as to have our animals, when they graze on it, they will not have some injury on them. So with these few points that I've mentioned, I believe you should be able to give examples of weeds and also state how weeds affect the productivity of agricultural produce such as plants and animals. After your notes, there are some questions in evaluation. Try and answer them, and you can bring it to school on Friday, and I'll mark it over the weekend, then you collect it the next week, either Monday or Tuesday. Continue to set the pace, stay safe, and remain good. Thank you.